What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Mercifully, the preseason mercifully comes to an end. This one was a particularly brutal one. It was a rough watch this preseason. Just awful, especially the second halves. But you did get some good today, particularly from a couple of rookies. So let's dive into it from a perspective. Dolphins lose 24-14. First off, QB2, that competition is over. If you're telling me Mike White, after this preseason, is the backup quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, I'm going to tell Mike McDaniel to get his head examined. I'm not even here to tell you that Skylar Thompson is good enough. I'm not a fan of the Ryan Tannehill replacement therapy that everybody wants to go to. But I can tell you very clearly, Skylar Thompson easily won this quarterback competition based on the 3 preseason games that were there for everybody. And I don't know about this bull bleat that Mike McDaniel was trying to spit this week about, I was trying to make it difficult on my quarterbacks. No. What's happening is Mike White is making life difficult on Mike McDaniel. The dude is leaving people out to dry. He is taking forever to get rid of the ball. He is just inept. He wasn't doing anything. And they started him today. And it was so bad that they had to, I imagine, I don't know this for a fact, but I imagine the plan was to give him the entire first half and then come out with Skylar Thompson. And it couldn't even get to that because of how bad he was stinking up the joint today. He was really bad. I mean, it was, what did they go? I think he got 4 drives, and it all ended on this one where, for what? I can't even really, this one is like a co-award because I don't even really understand why Mike McDaniel found the need to go for it on 4th and 8. I understand it was midfield, but nothing was happening for this team offensively outside of one person who we will get to because I don't want to just hammer. I want to give the flowers where they're due. But Mike White just held onto this ball forever. And it ends up, Patrick Paul ends up giving up a strip sack fumble that gets returned for a touchdown. By the mercy of the football gods, they look back at it and they claim it was an incomplete pass. If you say so, I don't know what you guys were talking about, but that's what they called. They got a little bit of a break there, but even still, after that, the next drive, Tampa would go and get a score going. So inevitably, they would take their 17-0 lead. So that was the bad. Skylar Thompson comes in 17 with 17-0. We'll get into that in a second. But before that, I do want to mention that Malik Washington, what a game this guy had. He really balled out for the Miami Dolphins. He was impactful on all fronts. Even when, first of all, he got this great punt return. On top of already starting off the drive, it was the only spark that Skylar Thompson could go was giving him the ball. He had a 28-yard punt return. Then he took a reverse and took it 40 yards down the field. Dude was scooting. He was killing it. Then you got a great kickoff return from him that was completely wasted by Mike White. He was incredible. He was everywhere today, Malik Washington, and just made an impact. 1 carry for 40 yards. He finished on the day. he also had, what was his return totals? He had 28 yards on punt returns and 45 yards on a kick return. So a great job by Malik Washington today. He was rookie number 1, sensational. Mike McDaniel basically cemented him on the roster because Mike Cunha was speaking to him at halftime, and his big nod was, look forward to see what he's got for us in the future, which you're like, boom, okay. Dude is getting the job. Meanwhile, Skylar Thompson comes in, and he just starts slinging the thing, man. Like, no thanks, just whoop, whoop, get rid of the ball. He's giving the ball, to Schwartz, who gets a little bit banged up. I mean, the injuries continue to be a story on this game. A lot of guys, Brandon Peely got banged up. I think he did a return with his helmet, but yeah, you saw him get banged up. Malik Washington in this game got left out to dry by Mike White. Nearly got sent to the Shadow Realm. Thankfully, he came back. But yeah, that was certainly concerning that the injuries continue to be the thing, and they really went thin on the guys that they brought to this game. I mean, the only starters of note, Braxton Berrios, who's not starter, Jeff Wilson. Curious to see what's going to happen with him. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. This game was like such a fog by the end of this thing. But anyway, the Miami Dolphins get Skylar Thompson in there, and he delivers to the man who is new lord of the intangibles, new intangibles king, Hayden Rucci, who is he's a tight end, stacked tight end room. This tight end room that they took 2 last year, and now you're at a point where like, will they take 4 guys? Are 4 guys making the team? Because you're gonna have Julian for sure. You're going to have Durham Smythe. You're going to have Jonnu Smith. And will there be a 4th who makes that team? Will they take from somebody else? I don't know. My guess is with Hayden Rucci, I would guess a performance like he had today, and he was good. I would guess that's at least got to cement him on the practice squad. I don't know what this spells for Tanner Connor. Jody Forston had an awful drop. So I would say go with those 3, see if King Intangibles makes it on the practice squad. But sick touchdown catch from him. He had a lot of big plus plays today. So shout out to him. Second half, man, pretty uneventful. John Embry was out there coaching for Mike McDaniel. The big thing that was a headline and a highlight for this game by far was Jaylen Wright. He just looked, it was a man amongst boys. Like, he very clearly was way too good to be out there. And he took one drive, took a pitch, first down, next carry, 8 yards. Next, he takes a pass, flees down the sideline like it's nothing. And then you have them getting just shy of the first down from Jaylen Wright. And then Rucci, he gets a big time first down. His head coach at the time is John Embry. John Embry took over from Mike McDaniel, and Embry was fired up. Embry also coaches the tight ends. And then Kyrick McGowan, he had a couple of big catches, had one for 13 yards, and then had a sick toe drag. Great rollout from Skylar Thompson. Brought the Dolphins to within 3. And at this point, you're just like, man, that was like QB2. It's over, dude. Like, Mike McDaniel calls this a neck-and-neck race. Like, it's a neck-and-neck race if those necks are a giraffe and a pug. It's like, give me the largest neck in the animal kingdom and an animal that's neck is inverted, and that is the neck-and-neck that this quarterback 2 battle was. Yeah, I mean, I think we all had hints of it. I'm doing this, by the way. I'm not listening to Mike McDaniel's press conference, so, bear with me. I did just watch 3 hours of terrible preseason football. I'll get to the press conference, but I just wanted to kind of riff on the stories that were today. But I gotta think that come Tuesday, that Sky is for sure the backup of this team. I think he deserves it. I think he earned it. And by the way, I don't think there's anything bad about that. You know, they did draft him a couple of years back. He is a Mike McDaniel draftee. He's been in the system. He started a playoff game. He has experience with the system. He just played better than Mike White. Mike White, I just don't get what's special about him. Like, I don't, you know, with Sky, it's like, all right, he's going to try and make something. I don't think he's good, but I think that he can try and make some things happen with his legs. He'll make the bonehead decisions. He did close out with a terrible interception today when the game was already out of reach. But as far as those two, yeah, I don't know. I didn't think this was very, very close or compelling. And I think based on how they treated the preseason, which was Skylar got to come in right after Tua, both games. Then I think, you know, they were like, all right, today let's see what Mike White can do. And the answer was he could do nothing. He could do nothing. He nearly got a player killed. He, you know, held on the ball forever, got lit up, got very lucky that it wasn't a scoop and six. So, I don't know, man. Didn't seem very compelling to me. Anything else from this game that's of note? You know, it's a little concerning. His second team defense, but Baker Mayfield did start. You did have the Bucs starters for the most part go out there. They went through the Dolphins defense like Swiss cheese. So that wasn't great. And then the other thing is Baker Mayfield completely duped Mike McDaniel into wasting a challenge just by, oh, come on, we got to hurry up. And, you know, once again, Mike McDaniel stinks at challenges. So, you know, that's something to just keep note of. Like, he's not been good at challenges. His challenge record is not good. Hasn't been good in the preseason. I don't know who's advising him or if he's just going emotional, but that's something that needs some looking at because he's not been great at that. He really hasn't. He has not been good when it comes to throwing the red flag. So that's something to definitely just keep an eye on. Before the game, should mention Eric Ezukama and Patrick McMorris were in walking boots. A lot of the reporters speculating Patrick McMorris could be heading to IR. Ezukama is an interesting one because it felt very much like his momentum was going towards making the roster. Guess we'll find out. I'm sure they'll advise what's going on there, but that's definitely something to keep in note going into these final cuts. But mercifully, preseason comes to an end. One of the worst I could ever remember as far as injuries, boring games, terrible quarterback matchups. You got one good drive out of you, and then even in that one, River Craycraft got hurt. So, you know, the rookies, I think, you know, the rookies had their moments, but as far as just like getting through these games, whew, horrendous. But it's over now. You made it, Dolph fans. The real thing's a couple things away.